Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Because today we are diving into one of the most jaw-dropping, heart-wrenching stories to come out of Fairmont Crest. And trust me, you are not ready for this one. So here is the situation. Madison, someone who was supposed to be in a committed, loving relationship with Chelsea, had been living a double life. On the outside, everything looked picture perfect, stable, inviolable even, but behind closed doors, Madison had been carrying on a secret affair with another man. And for a while, she thought she had it all under control. She thought nobody knew. She thought she was safe. But this is Fairmont Crest, and in Fairmont Crest, someone is always watching. The moment that secret started cracking, everything, and I mean everything, came crashing down in the most devastating way possible. Let me paint this picture for you properly, because this story deserves every single detail. For weeks before any of this exploded, Madison had been walking a tightrope. She was showing up in her relationship with Chelsea, smiling, going through the motions, doing all the things a partner is supposed to do. But she wasn't really there. Anyone who has ever been close to someone carrying a heavy secret knows exactly what that looks like. The distant eyes, the forced laughs, the way their mind is clearly somewhere else even when their body is right in front of you. Chelsea noticed. Of course she noticed. Chelsea also always noticed, but every time she brought it up, Madison had an answer ready. I'm just tired. Work's being stressful. It's nothing really. And Chelsea, because she loved Madison and trusted her, let it go. She gave her the benefit of the doubt. I imagine being Chelsea in that moment, watching the person you love slowly drift away and choosing to believe their excuses before the alternative is just too painful to consider. But it wasn't nothing, it was him. Now here is where it gets really complicated, because Madison didn't set out to do this. At least, that's what she kept telling herself. It started small, a conversation that lasted a little too long, a glance that lingered just a second too much. And I know what you're thinking. You are thinking, Madison, you know exactly what you were doing. And honestly, maybe she did. But people in these situations are incredibly good at lying to themselves. She told herself it was harmless, just someone to talk to, just a distraction when life felt overwhelming. But here's the thing about lines. The ones that seem so clear in theory tend to blur completely in reality. And before Madison even fully realized it, she had crossed one she could never uncross. The affair was a secret, carefully hidden, carefully managed, or so she thought. Then came the message that changed everything. Madison was in the kitchen one evening doing something as ordinary as preparing dinner, while Chelsea sat in the next room going over paperwork, completely unaware that a bomb was about to go off in their relationship. Madison's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and she froze. His name, right there on her screen, bold and undeniable. Her heart started racing as she grabbed the phone and read the words. I can't keep doing this in the shadows. We need to talk. Panic, fear, instant, suffocating panic. Because those words weren't just a message. They were a threat wrapped in emotion. And then, as if the universe had a cruel sense of timing, Chelsea called from the other room, everything okay? And Madison, holding her secret like a live granite, managed to push out the word, yeah, just work. But her voice betrayed her. It wavered just enough. Chelsea set her papers aside. By the time Chelsea walked into the kitchen, Madison had already locked her phone and plastered on a smile. But it wasn't enough. It was never going to be enough. Who was that? Chelsea asked. No one important, Madison replied quickly, and Chelsea studying Madison's face with the kind of attention only someone deeply in love can manage, said something that cut right through the noise. You have been saying that a lot lately. I cannot tell you how much that one line hits, because Chelsea wasn't yelling. She wasn't accusing. She was just noticing, quietly, painfully noticing. And Madison turned away to focus on the stove. because she couldn't look her in the eye. Meanwhile, the man at the center of all of this was growing impatient. He wasn't content being someone's shadow. He wasn't okay with being hidden and managed and controlled. He wanted more. And that desire, that refusal to stay quiet, made him genuinely dangerous. The very next day, Madison met him in a secluded spot, away from prying eyes, or at least that's what they thought. She came in hot. You can't keep messaging me like that. If Chelsea sees, but he cut her off. She deserves to know. Madison's eyes went wide. No, she doesn't. And then he said the thing that Madison absolutely did not want to hear. She deserves the truth, and so do I. What are we doing, Madison? Imagine how he felt in that moment. He had clearly developed real feelings. He wasn't just having fun, he was emotionally invested. And he was tired of being treated like a secret. And Madison, caught between two worlds she had created for herself, told him this was never supposed to be anything serious. Can you believe that? After everything she said, it was never supposed to be serious. And he pushed back. That's not how it feels. Madison looked away, conflicted, torn, and then she said, with this almost defensive desperation, what I have with Chelsea is real. And he asked her the question she had no good answer to. And what we have isn't. She hesitated, and that hesitation, that single, silent pause, said absolutely everything that words couldn't. But neither of them noticed the figure standing just far enough away to remain unseen. Someone who had heard enough, someone who understood exactly what kind of power this secret held. Because in Vermont Crest, secrets don't just exist, they're currency, and this one was priceless. Later that night, Chelsea sat alone, replaying everything Madison's behavior, the secrecy, the tension in her voice, the way she kept turning away, it didn't add up. And Chelsea was not the type of person to ignore her instincts. She reached for Madison's phone, and that was the exact moment Madison walked back into the room. Their eyes met. Time froze. What are you doing? Madison asked. Voice tight with fear, Chelsea held up the phone and delivered one of the most devastating lines I have ever heard. I think the better question is, what are you hiding? And that was it, the carefully constructed world Madison had been building and maintaining and lying to protect. It collapsed in real time. I can explain. Madison said quickly, then explain. Chelsea replied. Her voice was steady. It was cold. It was the voice of someone who already knew but needed to hear it said out loud. Madison opened her mouth. And nothing came out because there was no explanation. There was no excuse powerful enough to undo this. And in that silence, Chelsea got her answer. You cheated on me. She said quietly, not a question, a realization, a sentence being handed down. Madison's eyes filled with tears it didn't mean, and Chelsea cut her off immediately. Don't you dare tell me it didn't mean anything. I cannot overstate how devastating that moment must have been for Chelsea. This was the relationship that was supposed to be different. This was the person she trusted completely. And it was all built on a lie. What makes this entire situation so significant is not just the affair itself. It's the layers of consequence that are now set in motion. Chelsea's heartbroken, yes, but more than that, she has lost her sense of reality. Everything she believed about her relationship is now called into question. Every good memory now has a shadow over it. That kind of damage doesn't heal easily or quickly. And Madison has lost something she can never fully get back. Chelsea's trust, even if they try to rebuild, that foundation is cracked permanently. But here's what really raises the stakes. The unknown figure who overheard that conversation in the secluded spot, that person now holds the most explosive secret in Fairmont Crest, and they aren't planning to do anything noble with that. That smile, that cold calculated smile tells us everything. this secret is about to become a weapon. It's about to be used for leverage, for power, for some agenda we haven't even begun to understand yet. Madison didn't just blow up her relationship, she handed someone else the match to burn down everything around her, too. Honestly, Madison made her choices, and now she has to live with them. I feel for Chelsea deeply. She did nothing wrong and got blindsided by someone she completely trusted. But what really unsettles me is that shadowy figure in the background. Because a broken relationship is painful, but a secret turned into leverage, that's where things get truly dangerous. Nobody in Fairmont Crest is safe right now. So, that is where we are. Madison's secret is out, Chelsea's world is shattered, and someone in the shadows is holding all the cards. The story is far from over. And honestly, I have a feeling it is about to get so much worse before it gets better. What do you think Madison should have done differently? And who do you think that mysterious figure in the shadows is? Drop your theories in the comments below. I want to read every single one. If you are new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and join the conversation. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like because it genuinely helps us keep bringing you stories like this. See you in the next one.